Well, Notre Dame fans, here we are at Notre Dame Stadium talking about yet another Fighting Irish victory, their fourth in a row, and yet another resounding Fighting Irish victory. They are winners today, 36-7 over NC State. That's a cover if you're interested in those types of things. What we're interested, though, in, Jack, is just the way that this Notre Dame team keeps coming along, and they knew they had to after losing their first two games of the season. There was no other way to go about this but to just get better and keep winning, and they've stacked four of them in a row. Jack, what stands out about this one here today, Notre Dame beating NC State?
The defense looks like it did in 2023 and 2024, and it's looked like that throughout the past 10 quarters. They've allowed 14 points in the last 10 quarters. It just looks really, really good. They've caused havoc on all three levels. They're equally good against the pass and the run, I think. It's just a lot of good on defense, and it's a large enough sample size to the point where we can pretty confidently say they've put the first three games behind them as far as defensive performance. It's a credit to Chris Ash, it's a credit to his staff, it's a credit to the players, it's a credit to everyone. And the kind of the general message from Freeman, from Boubacar Traore, from Don Schuler, who we talked to after the game, was the buy-in and the togetherness. They're playing together, and they're playing as 11 as one, and they're doing that significantly more than they were doing the first three games. And you kind of have to just go with that because there's no one thing we can point to as this part of the defense is better, with the possible exception of Lennon Morris playing, and he was not before. But as far as the entire defensive performance goes, it's all 11 players playing better than they were before.
I'm glad you say it like that and said that, because I asked Marcus Freeman on a more holistic, general overview after the game, what do you point to for the reason that you've won four games in a row this way? You're killing teams. Let's call it like it is, as opposed to not being able to get over the hump in those first two games. When I get it, Miami and A&M are good football teams, and these teams have not been as good as that. But he said the same thing. It's not really one thing as a whole. Even when you're talking about offense, defense, the whole thing, it's the buy-in. And he said there's a commitment to the process and the preparation that it takes to play winning football this way. And then there's also the subsequent sacrifice that comes with making that commitment. It's not easy. You might lose your job. Jalen Stroman loses his job to Tay Johnson. He comes out here, he gets a sack of C.J. Bailey. He sacrificed his playing time. He still makes a play.
Carson Hobbs had the interception.
Carson Hobbs gets an interception at the end of the game.
Did you see what his teammates in the secondary, how they reacted? I mean, that is genuine. That is real. They were going nuts for him.
Notice the same thing, and that's the buy-in. That's the belief that everything is clicking. Now, was it perfect? No. Marcus Freeman said as much in his post-game press conference. There's a lot to clean up. This was a 10-7 game at halftime, Jack, but there's a feeling that no matter if the offense is down there in this end zone right here that we're standing in front of, not being able to punch it in, and it happened at the other end zone as well, leaving points on the field, that's going to happen. But if you just keep going out there and take advantage of the next opportunity, this football team's good enough to beat Power 4 programs like NC State with really good offense, really good quarterback, 36-7, because that defense is really good. And then the offense, for all of its flaws and not being able to convert in the short yardage situations and in the red zone, still a really good offense. CJ Carr, really good quarterback, the running backs, everything. Jack, I just feel like let this team play for 60 minutes and they can get those results.
Yeah, you mentioned 10-7 at halftime. NC State dressed like NIU, and it sure looked like this game was headed in a similar direction at one point. Yeah. Freeman said his message at halftime was, stop beating Notre Dame, stop beating yourselves. And that's what they were doing. They had two fourth-down stops, and the short yardage issues continue to persist.
They're real.
We'll talk about that more in this video, but one play, both times NC State kind of sussed out what Notre Dame was going to do. The first time when Will Pauling motioned across the formation, I knew what player they were going to run. They were going to run that quick out, sprint out to Pauling. NC State dropped an underneath defender under that, so they were kind of bracketing that high-low so Carr couldn't
And no
couldn't
throwing lane for Carr. Exactly.
No throwing lane for Carr. It was a really nice play by them. Second time, we both pointed out before the play, they were bracketing Malachi Fields, and Notre Dame drew up a play for Malachi Fields, and of course that didn't work either. So it's not super consistent as to what Notre Dame's doing wrong in short yardage, with one exception. They got to block better in short yardage, and everything works a lot better when the team can block. And it's not like they blocked horribly today. Wasn't as good of a performance from the offensive line, I think, as we'd been accustomed to. Obviously, credit to NC State for some of that. But this is all, I wouldn't say it's nitpicking, because this can hurt you against a better team, but we're going on and on about what the Notre Dame offense needs to do better. And they had 500 total yards and 34 points, not including the safety.
And like 7 yards per play. Again, I tried to stress that to you guys on this channel all week, was like they're moving the ball at a crazy clip. They did it again today. But everything that Jack just said about the short yardage is real. Like, you have to get that cleaned up, because USC might be a football team, for example, that can score enough points to put you in a hole. Like, NC State never put Notre Dame in a hole for its inability to put NC State in a hole, for that matter. It was a stalemate of a football game for probably 20 minutes of game time. Like, nobody wanted to give the other not the knockout blow, but the punch that says, hey, we're going to control this thing and dictate it. Yep. Ironically, those punches started coming after Tyler Buckner got a first down on a fake punt. It was Biaggi ball at its finest, where it looked like Notre Dame was going to punt, but it was nope. Let's direct snap this to Tyler Buckner to let him let him run straight up the middle and get the necessary yardage. So is he a long-term problem solver for Notre Dame's short yardage woes? Probably not, but in that moment it worked, and then Jack, like, the offense started doing its thing and converting when it needed to, and really started putting points on the board after that.
Yeah, they've been doing it with a lot of different guys. Like, of course, it was Love and it was Price. It was Will Pauling, 100-yard game today. I think that was something that we probably saw coming, given that NC State was down to its fifth nickel, and Notre Dame obviously knew that and attacked that area of the field right away. Eli Raridan, I thought, by far the best game of his career. Yeah. He wasn't getting schemed open like he was in the first couple games when he was putting up numbers either. He was running great routes. He was making physical catches. Mm-hmm. He looked like the do-it-all weapon Notre Dame thought it would have. And it's not like Raridan hadn't been good before this game, but this was the first time he'd been really deployed as that weapon.
I saw one catch over the middle. Everyone's going to talk about CJ Carr's absolute dime dropped in a bucket. Jeremiah Love scores on the very next play. It is incredible throw and catch. But, Jack, there was one play that told me that Eli Raridan is, like, here and he's a dude. He caught the ball over the middle, and then his first few steps after catching it, he kind of, like, readjusted his running angle, and he got some yards after the catch that way. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the Eli Raridan that Mike Denbrock was talking to us all offseason about. He's a real weapon.
Also, speaking of adjusting angles, like on that exact play that I believe that you're talking about, CJ Carr kind of dropped the arm angle a little bit because he sensed the blindside pressure. That was fantastic quarterbacking from CJ Carr.
What Raridan said about Carr today, oh my gosh, he basically fawned over him and said he sees the field better than any quarterback that I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And this kid's 6 games into his career as a starter, and Raridan's probably not wrong. I mean, I know Raridan's only played high school and college to this point, but CJ Carr's legit one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I think that needs to be said.
Oh, absolutely. He's playing great football. Again, like I don't really think I asked him what happened on the fourth down stops, but I don't think either of them were really his fault. It was just NC State got a good read on what Notre Dame was doing. I would like him to throw it away a little bit more often, maybe tuck and run a little bit more often, but again, it's nitpicking at this point.
And those things will come with time.
Yeah, those things will come with time. Those were things that like his flaws stem from he's trying too hard to make a play. And you can handle that. You would love to handle that if you're Marcus Freeman and Mike Denbrock.
It's nothing mechanical. It's nothing oh my gosh, he's never going to be able to get over this.
It's not failure to read the field like you're talking about with Raridan. Like his issues are fixable, and they're also few and far between. Defensively, I kind of want to go back to this because it's not like Notre Dame has played bad quarterbacks over this stretch. Like they haven't played fantastic quarterbacks, but Taylon Green, good quarterback. Maddox Madsen, good quarterback. C.J. Bailey, good quarterback. He did some good things today. He's got an arm. He made some good throws, but particularly Madsen and Green Madsen and Bailey. Yeah. Towards the end of that game, they had them seeing ghosts. Like they had no idea what they were seeing. They were under constant duress. They threw stupid interceptions that they would tell you themselves that they had no idea what they were doing on those plays. Yep. And that's a result of constant harassment at all 3 levels of defense. There was a play, C.J. Bailey threw a pick to Kingston Viliamalasa when he was trying to throw it away. That's how much Notre Dame had those guys rattled. It's beautiful to watch if you're a fan of good defense.
Marcus Freeman's been asked so many times in the last couple of weeks about momentum. It is real, and the defense especially has it. Like they're feeding off of each other, and they're playing in a way that they weren't in the first 2.5 games of this season. I'd put the first half against Purdue in there where it looked lost. It looked like something broken but it's fixed, and Chris Ash deserves credit. The players deserve credit because they basically said, nope, this is not us. We're going to play like us, and that's what you've been seeing out here lately. And one more point on Bailey. He turned the ball over 3 times in a span of 4 plays, I believe. The interception, and then he was seeing so many ghosts that he couldn't even take a snap properly, reaches back to jump on the football and say, okay, let's try to do this thing from the 1-yard line again. Nope, CJ, you're down, and the ball is over the goal line. That's a safety. That was kind of the point where you just look up and you say, like, Notre Dame has these guys in a blender. This game's over. And again, to my point, like, I think this team is good enough to maybe even do that against USC. Maybe we spin this forward and look like I think Notre Dame has the chops to kind of control that game. Now, is it going to be closer? Are you going to win by 3 touchdowns plus, again, like you have for 4 games in a row now? All these games have been that. I'm not sure, but Jack, like, I think Notre Dame's the better team, and if they play like that, they especially are.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's obviously a tougher test in USC. They have probably the best quarterback-wide receiver combo in the country so far this season in Jaden Mayava and Mekhi Lemon. If there was ever a game to for Notre Dame to get start nickelback Devontae Smith back, and B, for Leonard Moore to shadow the opposing receiver, the opponent's best receiver, I should say, all over the field. It is this one because Mekhi Lemon plays about 2/3 of his snaps in the slot. We'll talk about him a lot this week, but he's a good one. It's going to be the toughest test for the defense since Texas A&M. But what we've seen the past couple games, it makes me think they're up to the challenge.
To your point, they've made good quarterbacks, sometimes even really good quarterbacks, look very average or worse than that, and that's a sign of a good defense. A defense that is playing very well is when you can do that to opposing quarterbacks. So one more note, I mean, this is completely random, but Ashton Craig left this game, and it didn't look great. I mean, he walked off the field on his own power, but Joe Otting played the rest of that game. CJ Carr says Notre Dame has all the confidence in the world in Joe Otting, but Ashton Craig's one of the best centers in college football for my money, and you want that guy playing against USC and everybody else.
I mean, if you follow us on Twitter, you know how good Ashton Craig is because we highlight that guy. Every week he jumps off the screen. He did
something today. He drove a defender into the end zone and basically pancaked him. He got further into the end zone than Jeremiah Love did on Jeremiah Love's touchdown. Like, he's a special player.
That would obviously be a big loss if he has to miss time. Micah Gilbert, the redshirt freshman wide receiver, left with what Freeman said was a hand injury. We don't know if it's the same injury, even the same hand, but he did miss most of spring practice with a similar issue. So obviously something to monitor. With him out, KK Smith, first career touchdown. He had a nice half. Like, it's so many different guys on offense. Like, you never know who's going to step up. Every week, Notre Dame had 2 of its top 5 receivers down. The other 2 of its top 6, I should say. Yeah. Probably 2 of its top 5 because Gilbert was playing more than Smith, but the other ones really stepped up. So again, this offense is humming as long as it stops beating itself in short yardage.
Offense is humming. Defense is playing better and better every week.
It's humming too.
So yeah, this 4-game winning streak is absolutely very real for Notre Dame. I know there's no numbers next to these teams' names that they're playing, but I don't really care about that. I'm focused on the way Notre Dame is playing, and Notre Dame's playing really well. We will see if that carries into a rivalry game against USC. 3rd game in a row at home for Notre Dame. Of course, Jack Sobel and Tyler Horka will be there covering it for blueandgold.com and Blue and Gold Illustrated.